All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's patch time. Yay, Thursday, patch day Thursday. We haven't had a patch day Thursday in quite some time. Normally it's Tuesday, but today it's Thursday. Age Mythology Retold Update 18.40371. I'm here to read you through what's coming, what's good, what's bad, and everything else in between. Even if you don't like my opinion, I'm going to give it. Hello, Myth players and community. Welcome to this exciting update packed with updates and bug fixes. Bam, I love bug fixes. That nothing gets me going more than a bug fix. We have 2 new AI personalities to pit your strength and wits against in skirmish, additional sound output options and modding functions, updates to gameplay including AI improvement, and, of course, balance. I feel like that's a jab at me. Somehow, some way, I feel like this is a jab at me. I don't know why. Don't ask me why, but I feel like it. We look forward to your comments and experiences as you get time in-game with these changes. A special note regarding those who have been unable to sign in to play online on PS5, Xbox. The issue continues to be challenging for our dev team to replicate reliably. We have applied changes that we hope mitigates these issues and have also updated our error codes in the event users experience this again. Yada, yada, yada. PS5, Xbox problems, if they exist, please do report them to the customer support with a new ticket. That way that they can get working and fix everything for everyone and everyone can enjoy this beautiful game we call Age Mythology. Thanks again to our amazing community members, all of whom have helped to make Age Mythology Retold a success thus far. That's all of you guys. That's all of you. Every one of you that is watching this video, watching this stream, doing all the good stuff. All right. Build Spotlight. New unit combat stats. Have you ever wondered how effectively your units have performed in battle? Now you can see which units have been a champion of your army or slacking off in the back lines. In the example below, you can see from the stats at the bottom that this UFO has defeated 50 units and dealt 14,775 damage. This feature is currently only available to mouse and keyboard UI. I'm sorry to the controller plebeians out there. You guys are important too, just not as important as us keyboard elitists. Come on. This is actually really sick. I'm pretty sure... Actually, I don't know if this works like this. I was playing around with it on the pup, but I think if you select like all of your army, it'll show you all the amount of units you've killed and damage the entirety of the army does. I don't know if that's 100% correct or not, but anyways, it'll be cool for like Son of Osiris, Nidhogg, maybe a Fire Giant who just gets like a gigantic amount of kills and you want to see how much. Anyways, we've got 2 new AI personalities. The Sieger and Builder personalities have been added to the game to let you play against AI that has new, different gameplay motivations. These new AIs cater to players who want to defend against siege or attack players who control many buildings to satisfy their need for destroying enemy bases. Cool. Has anyone been playing around with these AI personalities? Let me know in the old comments. I've played just a little bit against the attacker and against the one that builds up a huge army and goes and attacks. They're kind of fun. We've also got the builder. This guy has a chance to build a village center. Holy moly. Attacks less frequently, builds vast bases containing a wide variety of buildings. I love this one. This one's going to be fun for a lot of players. I'm sure we got the game stability and performance. Performance improvements for the minimap, for unit attachments, and when position updates are not required, for any time the village priority system is available. Improvements for challenge tracking. I don't know what that means. Fixed thread safety when desyncs occur to ensure sync logs are accurate. Fixed to crash on PlayStation 5. Multi-threading. Minor improvements into stability in various situations. Minus space saving. Okay. Fixed a bug that can cause areas and you don't know. Fixed bugs that are temporary. Okay. I don't think I know anything about this. This is all about language. Over here we got graphics. New icon for the advanced fortifications technology. Boom. New icon for the Bitfrost's Watchtower blessing. Boom. The ballet building now has a customized boiling oil VFX setup. Boom. All of these new bits. VFX will now show up in photo mode to show correct positions and sizes as the camera moves. I like this. I was trying so hard to get my beautiful thumbnails going and I was always getting owned by the animations sort of randomly stopping. Happy days. All right. Some improvements to audio. Hopefully that's good. Hotkeys. Fakeified units are now correctly ignored by find next hotkeys. Okay. The UI. The game speed UI control is now allowed for use in single player, Arena of the Gods, and daily celestial challenges. Fixed a bug that caused players who own 37 or more unique blessings to get that all fixed. Fixed a case for the AI difficulty. Yada, 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 AI. It's in lobby settings. Fixed situation where the villager idle banner was overlapping with other. Okay. Community events. Add a new quality of life settings under the UI. Community events. World twist. Okay. All active world twists will now show the UI as expected. Minor additions to the changes to the loading screen. Training research time. Okay. Oh, that's cool for. Okay, that's cool. Fixed a case where the pause menu. Okay. It's icons. I'm not seeing the bug fixes that maybe I missed it. Okay, we'll keep going. Controller, a whole bunch of fixes for the controller. I'm not going to read those. I'm sorry. If you want to read them, you can click on the link and do it. All right. Fixes. Ongoing improvements to AI behavior. AI will now try to bypass walls if they do not block. Okay. AI can now choose to attack bases that are not the strongest base they've seen. AI will now reliably determine if a relic is reachable. AI playing as Greek or Odin with the humanoid personality can now perform regular scouting logic. AI playing as Atlanteans can now play with heroized citizens. Mount Olympus map. Okay. Will no longer seek to desecrate the temple on Mount Olympus. Oh, AI playing as Egyptians will now try to spread out their monuments more. Okay, fantastic. Villager, I don't care. Fixed a bug that caused pathfinding to behave incorrectly while navigating rotated buildings in some situations. The Chinese Titan Gate will now show previews for placement to correctly indicate its placement is valid. Okay, time shifting now correctly applies to the primary selected unit. This means time shift can now be used on multiple buildings in a multi-selection. This is a godsend. When you get that tech for Kronos, you can now go ahead and select all military buildings or military barracks, whatever you want, and then you can just time shift 3 at a time without having to bounce back and forth to make it happen. Very, very big fan of that change. When placing down buildings with multiple units selected, only units capable of working on the place foundation are now currently tasked to it. That's also fantastic. I think I read through this already, so that's just things that already got in. I think most of these are all the same, right? Fixed a rare pathfinding case where units could become stuck indecisively waiting while trying to follow player commands. Okay, good. Seek shelter improved. Earth wall. Balance, let's go. Time for some balance times. Villages. Adjusted as follows. No longer have a 1.5x multiplier versus siege weapons. Bonus damage multiplier versus towers increased from 2.5x to 4x. What does this mean? This means that while villages will still be used to defend against siege weapons and still be good, they will be significantly worse. Instead of doing, what would it be? 12 damage to when they have survival equipment, 12 damage to a siege weapon, they will be doing 8 damage to a siege weapon. That's good. That means we're going to be able to attack with melee siege and have them get more damage done. Fantastic. More time to kill the villagers as well as they pop in and out of the building. Also, bonus damage versus towers means tower rushing. If you ever did play against it, this is going to be much easier to shank those down. Siege weapons, crush armor increase from 70% to 85%. So those things are going to be becoming better against each other. Town center attack range is they're keeping this one in. So 20 to 18. All buildings have their damage increased from contained units reduced from 5% to 3%. That basically means that as you garrison units into the town center or into the fortress or into the tower, it's going to give less of a boost because, you know, reasons. This 18 range does mean the town center is no longer going to protect your towers, and also your wood line is going to be a lot more exposed. So you're going to have to play much better building placement wise, building units to defend that sort of stuff. Crenellations, damage. Fortress type buildings have had their build time further increased to compensate for their previous increase in power. Okay, crenellations, damage bonus multiplier versus cavalry reduced from 50% to 25%. Fantastic. This, to be completely honest, I'm still not happy with this tech. I still don't understand why towers, fortresses get to kill off cavalry. Doesn't make any sense. They're shooting arrows. There's a reason these units have got bonus armor. I'll tell you a unit that doesn't get affected by crenellations, that has a really happy time running underneath palaces and towers, the Huskar. High pierce armor. Tell you what else? Hoplite. with all its upgrades. So what else? Dow Swordsman. All these units have a fun time sitting underneath the Granulaceous Tower, but for some reason, Cavalry, you get singled out. I don't like it. I don't care. I'm just going to say it. I don't like it. I don't like this tech doing this. It should do something else. Anyways, enough about me. Let's keep going on. Watchtower. Cost increase from 200 wood, 100 gold to 250 wood, 150 gold. This is not the Sentry Tower, as I mistakenly said before. This is the Watchtower. So this is now going up to a grand total of 400 resources. It's a big investment. But it's still doing a lot of damage. Well, I don't think they're changing that. So when someone gets watchtowers, maybe they have to think about it a little bit more. Still going to probably be a must grab in a lot of situations. But if you can force someone to get this by min attacking, then you can take a big advantage somewhere else, like grabbing a different tech, like an economic tech, or grabbing a town center and sort of managing it that way. Advanced fortifications, fortress type buildings damage increased from 30% to 50%. Fortress type buildings have been nerfed. Their base damage has been nerfed and it's been thrown into the advanced fortifications. So this was what happened in the pup. I don't know. We'll see if it's the case here. But basically, don't worry. Your buildings are still bloody strong in the late game. They're still really, really good once you get this tech. But they're going to get a slight slap on the wrist for being a little bit too powerful. Which should allow for a little bit more of a balanced sort of game. Nonetheless, Arrows of Alpha, building damage getting reduced as well, and 5 colored stones is no longer part of the relic pool. Okay. Down. Bronze. Nerfed. No longer works on allies. Is that not the saddest thing you've ever seen in your life? I know for certain there are a healthy number of people who were upset with bronze being used in team games, winning games. I'm going to leave it like that. If you guys don't like this change, make sure you let everyone know. Nemean Lions. Special attack stun and snare duration now scales by 20% in the Mythic Age. Okay. Cost reduced from 350 food, 30 favor down to 300 food, 28 favor. I guess this is like the Nemean Lion stun didn't really technically scale because it doesn't really do any damage. Whereas everything else scales naturally with damage. Yeah, the Chimera was a little bit cost prohibitive. This is a better cost for the Chimera. I would still build it, to be completely honest. If I had the opportunity, if I had the situation, I would build the Chimera. But yeah, this will be nice. I think you'll see more of these now. Okay, Myrmidon, Hetaroi, and Gastrophed is getting a build time reduction. All fortress type human soldiers have their train time adjusted to match a similar resource drain rate. Fortresses have gone down from 15 to 12.5. So this, just to put into perspective, it's 45 damage per second down to 12.5 times 3. You thought I'd try and do that math. I can't times decimal places together. That's too much. Hang on. Just carry the 1. It's a 37.5. Is that right? Did I get it? Yes. Build points also increased from 135 to 150. This should give more of a chance to deny the fortress from finishing. So if you try and slap a fortress down in the middle of nowhere, and your opponent's kind of close, and they come over and try and kill it, that they should be able to a little bit easier. That's what that means. It takes longer to build the building. Okay, so Ra has its empowered building attack interval multiplier reduced from 0.6 to 0.85. This is just, it's just kind of like ridiculous how strong the main base was for Ra. I mean, maybe it's fine for like that to be a thing, and maybe you guys can argue that it's fine, but man, so much damage on those towers. You just can't go close. I don't know if it's going to change here, to be completely honest. I know this is a fairly sizable nerf, but I don't think this is going to change at all, to be completely honest. I still think Ra is going to be one of those gods you just want to stay away from their main base, but it's going to be less punishing if you do happen to run in there. Okay, so we got Dark Water having a cost increase. This got buffed in the last patch, remember? And everyone was kind of like scratching their head as to why. So now they increased the resource cost on it. I like that. I like that sort of a sort of a thing. If you think the tech is sort of underperforming in the like late game, then increase the cost, increase the effect, and that's good. Sun-dried mud brick building points reduction reduced from minus 25% to minus 15%. This tech is actually just insane in every single way in this patch, even with the nerf to the things. But I think we'll have to wait and see if the nerf to the Migdols is going to help out enough, because this tech is really, really good. This is one of the techs that holds the Egyptian S+ tier sort of status in place. Anyways, Locust also going down. This is doing huge damage to units, just too much. This one, Force of the West Wind. Siege Myth unit damage increase reduced from 20% to 15%. Yeah, this is still insane. You're still grabbing this to get the catapult out. It's just going to do less damage. Still insane. Ancestors got a cost, a duration reduced from 60 to 55. Now, I'm going to walk you through why Ancestors is a problem for ISIS, and why ISIS is so good, and why the other gods aren't. And this is not really the way to solve the problem. This is a tiny slap on the wrist to a gigantic problem. The problem here is ISIS has got access to two of the best. Well, all three Egyptian heroic minor gods are insane, but she's got access to two polar opposite heroic age gods. One is timing attack based, and one is sort of slow push based. So Sobek and Nephthys. You don't know which one they're going to be going through, right? So on the one hand, if they're going to go for a slow push base, you want to be out in the map and trying to pressure them. If they go for a timing attack push, you're going to be wanting to sort of sit back and let that timing push come to defend it, right? That's kind of the dynamic. With Ancestors, especially when combined with Eclipse, but even just by itself, what ends up happening is you're at a guess. You're guessing what your opponent's doing, and you want to send your units out to go and try and do something to stop them. And then all of a sudden they hit the heroic age and they'll click Ancestors Eclipse on your economy, and your units will be out of position. You're not going to be able to defend that. Or alternatively, you're sitting in your base waiting for Ancestors to come, but then they go Sobek, and then they're going to be able to start their slow push much, much easier, like less problems. So those are the main problems there. So in other words, Ancestors Eclipse on economy sort of enables ISIS to get a crazy amount of stuff going at the very top level. This is probably also an issue at every other point, every other level. If anybody wants free elo, just go with ISIS, Ancestors Eclipse your opponent, and then just try and attack them like a minute or two after the Ancestors Eclipse finishes. You're probably going to do crazy amounts of damage. It probably can't keep up with you, and you probably find wins. So give it a go, see what happens. Anyways, that's the thing. So I want to see this god power no longer being very effective on villagers, just like Fey Beasts, just like Carnivora. I want to see that. That's what I want. But anyways, this is a tiny slap on the wrist to that insane usage of the god power that completely enables ISIS to be absolutely broken. Okay, Scarab Scare Commit, cost reduced from 300 food, 18 favor to 200 food, 40 food, 18 favor. I like this. You don't build more than one extra Scarab normally anyways, so a little bit of extra food in your back pocket to maybe get out an extra Spearman. Love. Scorpion Man, hit points increase 500 to 550. Don't think this is necessary. Scorpion Man, perfectly fine unit. Use it every single time I play Nephthys. It's really good, but okay. Serpent, Anubis. I mean, you did nerf Ancestors, so Serpent Anubis now has 0.1x bonus damage versus Ox cards. Oh, Serpents is another god power that doesn't do bonus damage versus, or doesn't do damage versus villagers. Just in case anyone wants to get out there and say, hey, god powers should do damage versus villagers. It's good for strategy. Pharaoh Empowerment building attack interval reduced from 0.5x to 0.75x, similar to the empowerment on the priest. This is a big nerf because it was insane. It's probably going to be better to attack with the Pharaoh now, unless you've got units garrisoned inside the Migdol. I'm going to have to do some quick math to see, but I don't really know. But then again, the Pharaoh, if you are empowering, say, a Migdol, it's also getting you extra units out. It's also boosting up the attack, so it's not nothing, nonetheless. Siege Tower attack interval reduced from 4 to 3.5. This is actually kind of a buff. This is a buff for the Siege Tower. So every attack is coming in a little bit faster, meaning you're going to get more consistent damage. I like that. Finally, Watchtower is going up from 100 gold to 100 wood, 100 gold. This here is really, really cool from the perspective of breaking the top level strategy of Egyptian, which is ignoring the wood resource. This is something that every good Egyptian player does. They will not put a lumber camp down. They will go straight for the town center. They will go straight for the heroic age, and then they'll put the lumber camp down. So now you're going to have to gather that 100 wood. Otherwise, your opponent is just going to throw stuff at you. You don't have watchtowers. So this is really, really nice. This might be one of those things that they could dial back almost dial back the change to the monument that's with the pharaoh empowerment. But I like this change because it's not going to affect anyone lower level, but it will affect the high level players only because they're the only ones really doing these sort of strategies, I think. Okay, so Migdol's Stronghold is doing the same thing as everything else. Tiny little bit of a nerf. Ringo favor cost reduction for the Asgardian Bastion has gone down, so now it's going to be 50 favor instead of 40 favor. So the first one is going to cost you 60 favor to put down, and then everyone after that it's going to be 50 favor because you have to buy the tech. Okay, Thurizaz's Rune myth unit regeneration rate increased from 0.25 to 0.5 hit points per second, and also applies to Titans. Nice. That's a tiny amount of hit points. This tech was actually kind of fine in my opinion, as well as flaming weapons taking another little hit. So it does seem like there's been a little bit of a concerted effort in this specific patch to slow down or limit the amount of devastation you're going to receive from heroic age god power, specifically flaming weapons and bronze. Wonder if they do anything else to the other gods. Anyways, Inferno and ancestors as well. Inferno god power now has 0.1x bonus damage multiplied by its farms. That makes it in line with everything else. Love. Ironry cost reduced. Okay, good. Hopefully this has had its bugs fixed. I don't know if I read anything above about this or not, but Ironry was causing some really, really weird bugs with attack move. So when it blows its horn, randomly units will just decide, nah, I don't want to fight. I'm actually going to run away. Effectively, instead of increasing the DPS, severely lowering the DPS of an actual fight. Okay, Battle Boar, Baragi hit points increased from 650 to 720. Fenris Wolf tier, train time reduced from 14 to 12. Again, this is a similar thing to the Scorpion Man. Personally, I use the Battle Boar. I thought it was strong, or at least usable. Now it's even stronger. We'll see. I'm going to be using it still. I'm going to be using the Scorpion Man still. Hopefully you guys do too as well. Cursors coming out a little bit faster. Going forward, we hope to no longer need to have separate train time speeds for different buildings after these changes. Fantastic. Goatee train time. Everything is back to normal. Hang on. The now removed Great Hall train speed multiplied 1.5x is already factored into the mentioned train time. As an effort to streamline the train time speeds of the Great Hall and drain rates more generally, this has resulted in a noticeable increase in raiding cavalry train time speed. We'll be keeping a close eye on how this pans out. So raiding cavalry, this is actually a buff to raiding cavalry train time? Is this actually just a buff? I think it is. I think that's my understanding. This isn't like a... This is just a buff. I don't know about this one. I think this is fine, but... Okay. At least your resources will be drained quicker. So you can just spam these things out. Okay, portable ram, damage increase from 5 hack, 50 crush, to 5 hack, 60 crush. You're getting a bit of a buff. Don't mind that. Hill forts, same thing. Great Hall, same thing. I think, no. I think this is not a buff. I think this is exactly the same. It's the same. Okay, I don't think anything changed. I think just to streamline unit train time and resource drain rates and make the buildings easier to understand. Yeah, I think this is fine. Anyways, onwards and upwards. Temporal Chaos, cost reduced. 150 wood, 75 gold, 10 favor. Wonderful. Tiny bit of reduction here. This is still going to be one of those techs that you're going to grab probably if you go Rhea to save on the favor. You probably don't need to grab it early game. It's just unfortunately, you don't need to time shift that much early game. Maybe on like, it's not grabbable on a map like Anatolia or anything like that. It's just one of those sort of mid-game to late-game techs, and this makes it more of a mid-game grab than having to wait till late game, which I love. All right. Leto, research reduction. Okay, Tartarian Gate can now be cast over Asgardian Hill Forts. Yes! They listened! Yes! Finally, I've got a way to kill the Asgardian Hill Fort as Atlantean. It was impossible before. I couldn't kill it with units. I couldn't kill it with siege. I could kill it with Fire Siphon, but I didn't have Fire Siphon. Now I can kill it with my Tartarian Gate. Let's go. All right, Prometheans becoming faster to train. Love that. These are always a pain. You always have to get 2 temples out. This will make it much, much easier to do. So you probably still need 2 temples out if you're going to mass oracles and go for it. But if you only go like 3 or 4, 5 oracles, you probably won't need an extra temple. Stymphalian Bird now has ballistics. Yeah, this unit is a little bit lackluster. I don't know if it was because it was missing. I don't know. Sometimes I felt like it was good, but anyways, I'll try and use it and see how it goes. Galadria adjusts as follows. Hit points increase from 8 to 100. Pacify ability duration by 20% in Heroic and Mythic. It's fine. I don't really think it's necessary to do this, but it's fine. Lampedes. I like the hit points increase after they've finally starting to get hit, because other units got like ballistics on the ranged heroes got like ballistics to hit this thing. I think that's good. Okay, Lampedes get a cost reduction. That's fine. I actually think these guys are sort of like hidden strong. For example, one use, if you get into this situation, is Lampedes to counter Elephant or Elite Tiger Cavalry. Those are really high costing units that you can one hit with that tech. So keep that in the back of your mind. These things are very buildable. Argus getting I don't think this does anything, but a buff for the Argus. Centimanus getting train time reduction is nice to help you hit timings when you hit the Mythic Age. Oracle having a cost reduction. Love this. This is a must. It's still kind of expensive. It feels so rubbish as Atlantean to spend 100 resources to pick up a relic when your opponent's spending 75 resources. Or in some cases, 0 resources. So, well, I mean, they have to build a hero, like you build a Ajax or something, but that Ajax is useful, whereas the Oracle is just going to sit there, obviously getting favor. It's comparable, but it feels rubbish, right? Maybe if this was costing 75 resources total, which is what it is now. So this is probably where it should be. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm not seeing any changes to the Atlantean economy, but part of the reason why this has been tough is because Atlantean economy is actually slightly weaker than the other civs. On top of other reasons, they're also... Anyways, this will be a bit of a help for the early game to at least get a relic earlier on. Okay, Destroyer hero. Destroyer's getting a boost. Fanatic's getting a boost. This isn't a boost. This is like a rework. So they're going to do more damage to like heroes and stuff, or like non-infantry and cavalry. But it's the same versus infantry and cavalry as they were doing. I think that's what that means. Okay, Destroyer's damage getting an extra boost. Funnily enough, I actually thought the Destroyer was okay at 8x, but it wasn't at 8x. It was at 7x. So now it's actually gone from 7x or 7.5x up to 9x. 7x up to 9x, because there was like a missed code. They didn't actually put it in. It was in for the hero Destroyer, but not for the regular Destroyer. So this will be funny. I don't think it'll matter, but I do think that the Destroyer is going to be really good when it's really good, and it's still going to be rubbish when it's bad. Like, for example, versus Throwing Axemen. Okay, so Fanatics having some train time reduction as well. Fire ships. I wonder, the fire ship here getting a hack damage increase. Hopefully this actually makes them like on par with the other hammer ships. But yeah, they were missing, or they are missing that first shot some of the time. They have an 80% accuracy, which means their DPS is down the toilet. So yeah, this should be good for Atlantean. And the Palace having the same sort of thing. All right, Chinese Pantheon. Rate reduced for the first 750 tiles owned from 0.0125 to 0.015 favor per tile per minute. Rate increase from the 1,500 to 3,000 tiles owned from 0.0075 to 0.01 favor per tile per minute. Developer note, this should result in a slight reduction in favor in the early game, but a slight increase in favor for a more well-expanded base in the mid and late game, which results in a total favor buff overall compared to before at an equal amount of tiles owned when you have more than 2250. Hard to sort of imagine what this means, like, or what it means in game, but this is a must. Like, there was two ways to go about this, and this is the simple way. The probable way that I think that should be done is that they completely gut early game favor gen. They reduce the Qualfu favor cost by a lot. And then they say, as you expand, it's like a linear thing straight up, right? Rather than like kind of like a whatever it was. And then as you expand, you can go up to like, I don't know, let's call it 60 favor a minute or whatever is kind of close to what some of the other civs can get to when you fully expanded. But in the early game, you don't have much. That would solve a lot of the sort of problems with Yatza and Chillin, but we'll see. So they are going ahead with the Chi Yao, Son of Lung, Rage of Slaughter sort of rework. So this means that the Yatza will no longer one bang villages when you have two or whatever it is. But still, they've got to have 25% extra hack damage, which does apply to the special. So instead of it being 30 hack, instead of it being 30 hack on the dash, it's going to be 12.5 hack on the dash, which is not very much, but you're still going to get those villager kills if you get in there, because you're going to get the auto attack off straight afterwards. So these raids are still going to be brutal, but it's going to feel so much less bad. I still think this unit's going to be really strong. I think it might even have been buffed in a completely different way, like as a brawler in an actual fight. I think it has been buffed in that regard. So be on the lookout. Make sure you're building heroes. Make sure you've got the answers. And now we've got lightning weapons getting a duration reduction, but also being applied to heroes. So we might see a return of like the Fu Shi Pioneer idea with lightning weapons. Could be an interesting way to go. I like this because, this thing's just so strong. It might even be able to stay and fight it. It probably would be strong even at 10 seconds, to be completely honest. Okay, Sinister Defiance armor vulnerability earned from nearby military units from -1% to 2%. This is the Chongqi. This guy might be busted now. If you grab this, there's a couple of use cases for this unit that are really, really busted. But yeah, this could be interesting. Maximum hack and pierce vulnerability limit increased from -25% to -30%, and now also applies to flying Chongqis. I think these might be just as buildable. I think they were kind of buildable before, but this definitely makes them very buildable. I wouldn't be surprised to see How-To making it's not like How-To was dead, but making like a Chongqi How-To comeback where you go for those rather than playing a defensive game and going for Qualfu. All right, Zhurong, Flaming Blood. Okay, Yatza adjusted. This is the Yatza nerf, so pierce reduction, reach heights time reduction, flash strike hack damage reduction. Sorry, I was totally wrong on that. It was 15 before, so it is a nerf to flash strike overall with Son of Lung. It goes from 15 down to 12.5. Okay, I'm wrong on that. Excuse me. And the movement speed go down from 5.5 to 5.3. So yeah, I do think these are still going to be really good. Especially you've got that dash in, dash out sort of thing a little bit more like quicker. There's a couple of civs that are going to do much better against the Yatza, like Atalanta is going to do a lot better against this unit than it was already doing. Achilles is going to have a little bit more fun here. Still going to be dashing all over Zeus. Still going to be dashing all over Norse. Still going to be having a lot of fun against Atlanteans, I think. All right. Zhongqi also now deals 6 crush damage. Okay, interesting. That's interesting. I kind of like it, but also I kind of hate it. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to be building these bad boys, but we'll have to see what the favor nerfs do. The chillin area now increased by plus 20% rate in heroic and mythic age. Area heal rate reduced from 1 to 0.5 HP per second. That's a big nerf. Wait, hold on. What is that? Does that go to 0.1? 0.6 HP in heroic and then 0.7 in mythic? Is that right? That's a huge nerf. Oh, did I do the math right? Oh, you've also got the upgrade to apply to it. All right. Okay. I still think these are good. Man, this is interesting. I think they'll still be getting built, to be honest, but we'll see. Yeah. The problem with this unit is that when it gets to its critical mass, right? That's when it's problematic. When it gets to like 5+ chilling, then it feels like these things are just bloody invincible and you can't kill them, right? They just don't die. Anyways, Chiwen max shield points is now increased by plus 20% in the mythic age. Tao Tie. Crush damage increased from 15 to 12. Cost reduced from 280, 22 favor, 260 gold, 20 favor. Hundun. Banished divine damage increased from 30 to 40. Movement speed increased from 3.5 to 3.6. Can now ground target the banish ability. Okay. White Horse Cavalry train time reduction. Okay, all the same. Quailfu. Cost reduced from... Okay, so they did kind of do this. They kind of half did what I thought was a good idea. I don't know if doing things in half measure is a good idea for this, but we will see. We will see. Anyways, Dock favored land reduced from 12 to 10. Still insane. It's just the extra favor that you don't get normally, and anyways, makes it hard to like do anything. Okay, tower emplacements will now have a minimum range of 4. Okay, good. And that's the patch. Bunch of modding stuff going in and a whole bunch more stuff. And we got the Heavenly Spear coming. Hope you guys enjoyed the patch run through. It looks like some extra stuff did make it in here, so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to playing some games for you guys and seeing how things look and go and feel, and all the other good stuff. Make sure you leave a comment for anything you don't like. Make sure you leave a comment for anything you do like. And I'll see you in the next one.